The U.S. debt ceiling is a concept that many people may not fully understand, yet it plays a critical role in shaping the nation's economy and, by extension, your daily life. The debt ceiling is the legal limit on the amount of debt the U.S. government can incur. When this limit is reached, the government cannot borrow more money to meet its financial obligations unless the ceiling is raised by Congress. While this may seem like a matter for policymakers and economists, the debt ceiling has direct implications for the economy, public services, and even individual financial well-being. In this video, we'll explore the top 10 ways the U.S. debt ceiling affects your daily life, highlighting the far-reaching consequences that a debt ceiling crisis can have on personal finances, jobs, government services, and overall economic stability. 1. Potential government shutdowns. When the debt ceiling is reached and no agreement is made to raise it, one of the most immediate consequences can be a government shutdown. In a shutdown, many federal employees are furloughed and government services are paused or scaled back. National parks close, certain government offices shut down, and essential services like the processing of Social Security benefits and veteran services could be delayed. For individuals who rely on government services for their livelihoods or daily activities, this can lead to serious disruptions. Furthermore, a prolonged shutdown can lead to a loss of income for federal workers and contractors, affecting their ability to meet their own financial obligations. 2. Impact on Social Security and Medicare benefits. If the U.S. government cannot borrow money due to the debt ceiling limit, payments for programs like Social Security and Medicare could be delayed or reduced. These programs are essential to millions of Americans, particularly older adults, individuals with disabilities, and low-income families. Any interruptions in these payments can create significant hardship for those who rely on them as a primary source of income. If a debt ceiling crisis prevents the government from fulfilling its obligations, individuals may find themselves struggling to cover medical costs, everyday expenses, or retirement needs, leading to financial instability for many. 3. Higher interest rates on loans. A debt ceiling crisis can cause uncertainty in the financial markets. This uncertainty often leads to higher interest rates on loans, mortgages, and credit cards. When investors become worried that the U.S. government may default on its debt obligations, they demand higher returns to compensate for the perceived risk. As a result, banks and other lenders may increase interest rates, making borrowing more expensive for consumers. This could impact your ability to purchase a home, finance a car, or take out loans for education or personal needs. Higher interest rates can also lead to higher monthly payments for existing loans, making it more difficult to manage debt. 4. Stock market volatility. The debt ceiling and the uncertainty surrounding it often cause volatility in the stock market. When investors fear a default or prolonged debt ceiling impasse, they may pull their money out of stocks, causing market prices to fluctuate. This volatility can affect your investments, retirement savings, and overall financial portfolio. If you hold stocks or bonds, the market reaction to a debt ceiling crisis could significantly impact the value of your investments, potentially leading to financial losses. The instability could also make it harder to grow your wealth or reach your long-term financial goals. 5. Delayed tax refunds. The U.S. Treasury Department has to manage the government's finances, including issuing tax refunds. If the debt ceiling is not raised in time and the government faces a fiscal crisis, the issuance of tax refunds could be delayed. Many individuals rely on their tax refunds to pay off debt, cover living expenses, or fund large purchases. A delay in receiving these refunds can cause financial strain, especially for those who are already living paycheck to paycheck. This is a common example of how a national fiscal issue can trickle down and disrupt personal financial plans. 6. Reduced federal spending on public services. When the government reaches the debt ceiling, it may not have enough funds to pay for certain programs and services. This can lead to cuts in federal spending, affecting everything from education to healthcare to infrastructure. Federal spending is a crucial part of the U.S. economy, and cuts to it can create a ripple effect that impacts businesses, jobs, and individuals. For instance, if public health programs or education funding are reduced, it can lead to higher costs for medical care or education. These cuts can have long-term consequences for public services that many Americans depend on daily. 7. Potential for a credit downgrade. If the U.S. government fails to raise the debt ceiling and defaults on its debt, it could lead to a downgrade of the U.S. credit rating. The credit rating is a measure of a country's ability to meet its debt obligations. A downgrade can increase borrowing costs for the government, leading to higher national debt and financial instability. For individuals, a credit downgrade could mean higher interest rates on personal loans and mortgages, as lenders adjust to the new economic realities. A downgrade could also reduce consumer confidence, leading to reduced spending and investment in the economy, further impacting job security and wages. 8. Decreased economic growth. A debt ceiling crisis can create a sense of economic uncertainty that stifles growth. Businesses may be hesitant to invest, and consumers may cut back on spending out of fear of an economic downturn. This decreased demand can slow down economic growth, leading to a potential recession. For individuals, this can mean fewer job opportunities, stagnant wages, and limited options for economic advancement. Reduced economic growth can also affect the housing market, as lower demand can lead to slower home sales and reduced property values. In the worst-case scenario, it could lead to an economic contraction that impacts job security and overall financial well-being. 9. Disruptions to government-backed loans and mortgages. Many Americans rely on government-backed loans, such as FHA mortgages, VA loans, and student loans, to finance major life decisions. If a debt ceiling crisis leads to a government shutdown or delays in funding, these loan programs could be temporarily halted or disrupted. This can prevent potential homeowners from securing mortgages, students from receiving federal financial aid, or veterans from accessing home loans. Disruptions to these programs can delay major life events, making it more difficult for Americans to achieve financial stability and long-term goals. 10. Rising costs of government services. When the debt ceiling is not raised, the U.S. government may be forced to make difficult decisions about where to allocate funds. In many cases, this results in cuts to non-essential services, but it could also lead to higher costs for essential government programs. For example, if the government raises taxes or borrows more money to cover the shortfall, this can lead to inflationary pressure, causing the prices of goods and services to rise. This could lead to higher costs for everything from groceries to transportation, impacting your budget and standard of living. As the government struggles to balance its books, it may pass on costs to consumers, leading to more expensive daily necessities. The U.S. debt ceiling is not just a technical issue confined to Washington, D.C. It has wide-reaching implications for your daily life. From government shutdowns and higher interest rates to delays in tax refunds and reductions in public services, a debt ceiling crisis can disrupt many aspects of the economy. Whether you are a retiree relying on Social Security, a homeowner managing a mortgage, or a student trying to finance your education, the debt ceiling directly impacts your financial stability and well-being. It is crucial for policymakers to address the debt ceiling issue in a timely and responsible manner to avoid these negative consequences. As a citizen, understanding how the debt ceiling works and how it affects you can help you better prepare for the potential challenges that may arise.